So we all have something within us that wants to be expressed. You could call it love, but it's love in your particular flavor. It's the little piece of love that you know, and that has a certain expression through the vehicle as it's oriented in you. And there's an expression here. And first there's like a remembering what we are. But as we remember, it has a movement. I remember hearing Adyashanti say this, that there's a human will to wake up, to know its essence, its source, but there's also a divine will to become human. It's non-linear, it's both directional. So the divine really longs to be in us, to be with us, and to express through us. And as we remember what we are, it's reflected as expression. And they say, as we learn, we teach. As we teach, we learn. Same idea. And when we remember what we are, we connect into this quality of freedom and this remembrance of wholeness and the peace that we are, and the source that is the source of all things. So we start to remember that we're not separate. And then from this place of non-separation, we meet the sense of being separate, and we now have a choice. Do we stay in the separate programming, or do we choose to express, to stay with the openness, the wholeness? And this wholeness then often arises as this inspiration, this inner urge, you could say, and it's the urge of the divine to become something. And often in the non-dual arena, we get so skillful at negation that we become skeptical of any urge, any inspiration, and we say, "Ooh, well, that's illusion. That's just a idea," and we just like shut it down over and over again because we want to stay with source. But that's a kind of fear, right? It's like a fear of leaving source. A fear of leaving source. And does the divine have that fear? No. The divine dances through every manifestation, and each body, mind, vehicle is an opportunity for the divine to express itself. And it's only fear that would get us addicted to negation. And I speak of it because I know, and there's a sort of sense of safety there, because we're kind of just like staying back, staying with the source, but it becomes kind of like this flat dullness. And it's okay, it's important to train the mind in that way, to see every thought as a thought, and to watch the patterning. But I feel like we start to see that that's another fearful protection, that there's a fear of sort of dancing into expression because of the belief that it's illusion and we're getting caught up in something. And we're only getting caught up in illusion if we believe that it entails separation. And nothing does, in truth. There's no such thing as separation. There is no separation. So, we all have something to express. And there's not someone doing it. It's just natural. Everything is expression. The tree is an expression. There's no one doing the tree. It's just a tree. And there's no one doing this. It's just an expression. And the river and the birds and the animals, expression. Now there's no questioning in it. So it's to notice the questioning. Like, ooh, should I have done that? Ooh, I don't know. Shouldn't I? This is all neurosis of the separate mind. So I feel like I'm speaking from a place where I've been so in the negation station, not leaving the station, and using spiritual concepts to sort of justify inaction, you could say. I've seen that tendency in myself. Now, what I've been learning lately, it's almost like we wake up out of spirituality as an idea, as a concept, and it's just naturalness. And that's what spirituality is always pointing to, of course. But we're always going to misunderstand it first, and misunderstand it continuously until we don't. And I'm not even saying that I don't now, but it's just like progressive refinement of the understanding. And it's kind of a joke, like it's kind of ridiculous, because it just means we become natural. We just become normal, basically. Like, how do you become normal? And that's why there's books and books and books and books about how to become normal, just a natural human. But it just shows how kind of in our own dream, in our own delusion, humanity has been on this planet. And so we need books and books and books just to give us the permission to be normal, to be natural, to just be what we are, without trying to fix it, without trying to. And of course then spirituality becomes another Mr. Fix-It program. Okay, I need to meditate in order to fix myself. I need to do breathing practices. I need to inquire, who am I? 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 And then as soon as any action comes out, we're like, who's doing that? Who's doing that? And we're just like, almost like attacking ourselves. And it's okay. I mean, that's the imbalance. That's the misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding is going to find its way into spirituality. But by the time we get into spirituality, we're using the misunderstanding to undo the misunderstanding, the thorn that removes the thorn. And then eventually we're just becoming natural, normal, just a human. And a human is an expression. And that expression, it comes from the heart. It comes from the core of ourself, and it just flows. And when we start to connect with this expression, that's when we start to find our naturalness, and it feels so good. And this is how we uplift each other, how we uplift the whole, just by being ourselves. Stop editing ourselves. Stop second guessing ourselves, because we are good. We are of God, and we need not worry that we are sinners, that we are separate, that we've done wrong. These things, only ourself holds us to this. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, there's an innocence to it all. And it's okay that the mind fakes spirituality too, because basically it can't get away with it. Not that anyone's catching it out, or that there's anyone out there that's going to judge it. None of that. It's just that it's not freedom. And not freedom will never suffice. So everything that feels not like freedom is on a timer. It's on a timer. And what do I want to express? Just experiment, because it will feel right. It'll feel good to express. And when the impulse comes, start to notice the impulse to express, and experiment with letting it flow. And then once it flows, we start to get the feedback in our direct experience, not from others. Did that feel pure? Did that feel from the heart? Did that feel true? Or did it feel compromised? Did it feel like it had some other ulterior motive in it? And that's just for you to see. It's for me to see, for myself. It's not something that we can pick out in others. What we're seeing in others is, again, just a reflection of our own mind. So, allowing expression, allowing naturalness, allowing the truth of what you are to step forward, step into this life, to really be present and be seen. Whatever that is, whatever brings joy, brings and feels like a gift that you can give, an extension of love. And there's probably many ways. Because there's only love. But saying that doesn't negate the fact that there's a particular way that you express love. And it's natural. It's not something you succeed or fail at. It's just what you are. Just what you are. I mean, resting in love, resting here. You can never go wrong with that. But just notice if you're editing, holding back, playing small, because that will create dissonance in your experience, and it doesn't allow the love to come right to the surface and transform your experience. Even if you know it in the transcendent, the peace, of course, it's so beautiful to stay with the peace. Stay with the peace. But just notice if that impulse to come in and express is being denied. That's where we start to transform our world. It's by letting love move through us, express through us, to let love live the human life. It's already what's happening, but there is seeming interceptors in the mind that don't allow for just the steady stream of naturalness. And that's why we train the mind and become so present and so acutely aware of where our actions are coming from. Are they coming from the pure source, I am, or are they coming from some half-baked fear programming. And when we see the half-baked fear programming, we don't judge it. We watch it from the love that we are and hold it and let it resolve so that the pure flow can take over. If you have any interest or calling and you'd like to connect, I welcome that. We can connect through Zoom, and you can find the link on my YouTube page to set that up. So please don't hesitate if you feel the call to connect. It's part of your heart's expression, part of my heart's expression, and it's part of our service to each other to share in this flow of revealment and to express what we're realizing. It helps to fill in the full picture, and it helps to inspire, and it's also part of doing our piece of the puzzle. You know, we've kind of set up these interactions to remind each other what's true and to work together in the resolution of illusion. So if you feel called, there's obviously no pressure. But if you do feel called, then please reach out. Okay. Bye-bye.